1 Corinthians 14, 26 to 35 addresses three groups of people within the church at Corinth who were told to be silent. The Greek word is sagao, and it means to keep your mouth shut. The first group were tongue speakers with no interpreter. The second group were the prophets who were waiting their turn to speak. The third group were the wives of the prophets. It says that they were to be silent, that they were to be submissive, that is, in the proper order. They were to ask their husbands at home if they had any questions, and the reason stated because it was shameful for women to speak up in church. Now, 1 Corinthians 14 and these restrictions were in regard to a miraculous assembly with these spiritual gifts being used. Remember, as we've been going through this series, I've tried to emphasize that spiritual gifts are not natural abilities. These were gifts that were given to various members of the church by the Holy Spirit, 1 Corinthians 12:11, as He willed. These were not natural talents. So these women, these prophets' wives, it seems, were acting in a rather chaotic way, making disorder in the church, as were the tongue speakers with no interpreters, and as were the prophets who were not waiting their turn. But these women were told to be silent. Now, we cannot duplicate today what was happening in the church at Corinth. If we want a text that addresses women and their role in the public assembly where Christian men and women are gathered together, we need to go to 1 Timothy 2, 8 through 15. But we know what he told these women who had spiritual gifts, and we know that women had spiritual gifts. For instance, in Acts 21, there was a prophet who had 4 daughters who prophesied. Prophecy is one of the 9 spiritual gifts listed in 1 Corinthians 12. 1 Corinthians 14, 34 and 35 address the prophets' wives, and if they had questions, be quiet in the assembly and ask your husbands at home. Make sure you subscribe to our channel.